is just a huge honor today to be podcast interviewing my classmate all the way through dental school, Dr. John Flucke, DDS. He's probably the only guest I've had on that needs no introduction. You all know him from Dental Products and Report, the technology editor. He's the Chief Development Officer of Seller and Consulting. He was born and raised in Kansas City. That's why I'm wearing the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to ask you, I can't think of anybody who knows more about technology than you. I mean, really, my hat's off. I've been following you for 32 years, and I love your blogs, love your information. I hope I don't blatantly steal too many of your lines and your material, but I try to. But, you know, a lot of...
Hey, that's okay. I'm stealing yours too, Howard, so we're even.
Some of these kids get caught up on, there's like, what are we on, the 89th generation of bonding agents, and you know it just keeps going and going. And then I'll talk to the reps. Like I was talking to a Benco rep the other day, and she's like, you know, these dentists they're all obsessed about what type of bonding agent and all that. And then I go test their curing light. Hell, their curing light doesn't even work. What are you doing for bonding agents, curing lights?
You know, the big thing on all these extra generations of bonding agents, I don't think they've been that amazing personally. I think a lot of it is marketing, and I think some of it is just because for whatever reason people get sensitivity with different techniques, and rather than troubleshoot their technique, they just assume it's the material and they go on from there. But the curing light piece of it is huge. And the curing light, in my opinion, I call it the stepchild of adhesive dentistry, because it's always there, but nobody ever pays any attention to it. And it's really important to know how to cure and how to cure properly. And like you said, a lot of people never check their curing lights. They don't know what their depth of cure is. They don't know what the wavelength of their light is. And there's a ton of people that are missing the boat on that. You know, they buy these $50 lights online that are, made, somewhere, you don't even know the wavelength of them. You don't know the intensity of them. All you know is you only paid $50 for them. And there are some changes that are coming out in curing right now. I mean, I've got one right here that I've been playing with. This one was just launched at the Chicago Midwinter, and this is the Monet curing laser from AMD. They're located in Utah, and this is the first handheld curing laser on the market. This thing gives you a depth of cure of around 8 millimeters on my bench so far. And that's a phenomenal depth of cure.
What's the name of that one?
This is the Monet. The Monet. They have Picasso, which is their line of soft tissue lasers. So I think kind of trying to keep with the great artists, they're calling this one Monet. But this is a 450 nanometer laser. And like I said, on my bench, I'm getting depth of cure of 8 millimeters with this bad boy.
Okay, so the first thing I thought of when you start saying that, when you said 8 millimeters, is are you tempted to do the bulk fills?
Once again, yes and no, depending on the situation. I don't think I'd throw 8 millimeters of composite in there, because I'm worried about material shrinkage and some other stuff that goes along with that. But I think you could certainly do a 3 or 4 millimeter depth of cure with a lot of these materials that have a fairly low coefficient of shrinkage, and definitely do that. You can also, with something like this that has that much intensity, you can clear, if you're doing something that'll transmit light like Emax, you can send the light straight through that and, help set your cements when you're doing it. Obviously, if you're bonding things into place for ortho, you've got, things like brackets. If you're doing wire ortho or whatever, be able to go and work around those situations. A high intensity light is great for those kind of applications. Just real quick on the whole thing with CAO Group and AMD, I was out there and met with those folks in January, and I'm. You know how it is. You sign these agreements and you can't talk about things that, aren't on the market yet. But I would tell people to keep an eye on CAO and AMD. They've got a lot of cool stuff in development that's going to come out. I mean, this curing laser is just one of those things. And I can't talk about a lot of them, but there's some really cool game-changing stuff coming out of that company. And so I would tell people that you haven't heard of them because they've normally for years and years been making products for other manufacturers and third-party manufacturing and labeling. But there's a lot of cool stuff coming from that company, so keep your eyes open for it.
But hey, John Flucke, technical editor, Dental Products Report, Chief Development Officer, Seller and Consulting. Tell Lou I said hi. Thank you for all that you've done. And if DPR ever gives you any shit, say, well, Howard, he wants me to go to Dental Town. And on that note, I hope you have a rocking good day. Go Chiefs, go Royals.
Thanks, Howard. It's always great to talk to you. Who'd ever thought in 1987 when we were sitting next to each other in all those classes and you kept trying to wake me up and say, Fluky, pay attention. I think this is important. Who would ever think that we'd be doing this? Life's been good to both of us. And I appreciate you thinking enough to let me do this with you. Thank you.
Oh, man. Thanks for all you do for dentistry, buddy. Have a great day.
You too, buddy. You're a rock star.